The following program period has been purchased by the Beckley Group. Content does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of CHCH TV 11.
Following program reveals real estate techniques and formulas that are applicable in both the United States and Canada. Any references to tax and mortgage laws are based on the U.S. legal system. Please consult your tax and legal advisors concerning any of these issues.
In the first 3 weeks, we've already bought 7 properties, and with no money down, we're putting $30,000 cash in our pocket from the purchase of these 7 properties.
We'll actually make $106,000 paid to us, and we'll net about $83,000 out of that, and that's for about 3 days worth of work, so that's not too bad.
I acquired over $1.5 million worth of income-producing real estate, including a beautiful home for myself, within 18 months.
Everybody has a dream in their heart, waiting to be set free. You can do anything if you only believe in that dream.
And you all have these dreams. And what I want to be able to do is take those dreams via the unique money-making vehicle of real estate and translate them into financial freedom.
My most passionate dream is to be financially independent. I want to be able to help my friends, my family, to travel all over this world, to continue buying real estate, possibly all over this world. And Ed Beckley's no down payment seminar has made it all come true.
The first week I gained a $70,000 property, and then after that I acquired close to $250,000, I believe, is what I've been involved in the last 2 months.
I believe through this method that a person even of my age, you can have an estate that'll just blow your mind by the time you're ready to retire.
I have acquired 4 properties, all with nothing down, and I've put about $10,000 in my pocket. It's all very simple.
I would recommend the course very strongly to someone who wanted to get rich, because there isn't a better way in this country to get rich than in real estate, and the Beckley seminar gives you the tools you need to follow through with your ambition. You can go as far as you want with it.
It's the all-new Millionaire Maker Show with multimillionaire real estate expert Ed Beckley, revealing how to get rich in real estate without cash, credit, or even a job.
Jay Murphy from Houston, Texas, went out and bought over 60 houses since taking the No Down Payment Seminar just a little over a year ago. Mark Osborne from Detroit, Michigan, since 2.5 years ago, taking the course, he's bought over $2.5 million worth of property. Chris Fisher from the middle of Iowa, small town in Iowa, in the last 2 years has developed over $1 million net worth and over $250,000 in cash. I get so excited when I talk about these folks. These are successful graduates of the No Down Payment Seminar and home study course throughout the country, and we have over 50,000 of these people. Say, how many of you'd like to hear how these folks did it? Well, I hope so. That's why I'm here tonight.
Ed Beckley. For a brief period in the mid-'80s, you might have seen his face. Seriously, he just looks like the kind of dude that's about to sell you the best used car you'll ever buy. Actually, wait, no, the opposite. But for a brief period, you might have seen him on television, because he ran a series of infomercials about his seminars telling you how you can make millions of dollars. The Millionaire Maker with Ed Beckley. Yeah! And in what way are you gonna instantly become a millionaire with the secrets that Ed is gonna share with you? Well, the answer is none of this is gonna work. There are two different particular scams here, both of which involve get-rich-quick schemes, neither of which are good ideas. One is alarmingly bad, but we're going to start with the one that everyone's kind of expecting when it comes to infomercials and seminars. Real estate. Why is it always the real estate? Every single time, I swear, it's always like, let me teach you how to make just a gajillion dollars selling houses for no money down. No, you don't need money to buy real estate. It's not one of the most expensive commodities on the planet. Don't be ridiculous. But yeah, Ed promised his seminars would teach you how to get rich off of real estate. He called it the No Down Payment Real Estate Seminar, and the reality was most of the advice was not applicable to the situation, because once again it focused on finding ways to get a hold of real estate with no down payment. And do you have any idea how difficult it is to pull that off? It is not something that everybody is capable of doing or is able to do. There just isn't enough real estate for everybody to get into the real estate business, for one, and there's definitely not enough real estate for there to be enough sales where the seller is willing to give away the property for no money down. And if they are, they must really want to get rid of it because it's probably radioactive or something. Like, there's really no way that anyone was going to make any money off of this, except, of course, Ed, because he was charging you for the seminar. It's always the seminar. That's the grift, people. If they're charging you for the seminar to teach you how to get rich, the real way to get rich is to actually have your own seminar, because that's where he's making his money. It's not off the real estate. It's off of teaching you his secret to real estate, except there is no secret to real estate. It's just a bunch of hogwash, Eddie just talking up a storm, acting like an expert, looking like a dude who's gonna rip you off, and of course, he already has. And his background wasn't even in real estate. He allegedly did go to college, earning degrees in both economics as well as business, but he wound up being a high school teacher for a bit. That's when he claims he found ways to make money in real estate, and made more money from those investments than he did from teaching, so he quit his job in the educational field in 1978, starting to work part-time as an independent loan broker, and in 1981 he wrote a book, No Down Payment Formulas, which was indeed the main focus of the Millionaire Maker television seminar. And of course, he told you how to get no money down real estate and all this other hogwash. But again, as I already stressed, it's very difficult to do. Not everyone's going to be able to do it. If you're paying for a seminar, don't actually do that at all, or buy his book, or anything of the sort. Basically, no one saw any results from this particular strategy, and many attempted to get refunds, which Eddie made sure was exceedingly difficult to the point of being impossible, because of course he did. But that wasn't even the only grift he was running. No, the other one was way stupider. Oh yes, because, I mean, we've heard of the real estate grift before, the no money down system. How many real estate scammers have said that there's a no money down system and have promoted a no money down system? Eddie was not at all alone in that particular scam, but he also had the Credit Card Millionaire System. I'm sure most people understand what a credit card is. It's a card that has a line of credit from some kind of financial institution, usually a bank or credit union. Either way, the vast majority of you have the full understanding that a credit card, being a line of credit, requires you to pay it back. It's like having a loan in your pocket, you know? So how in the world are you going to become a millionaire off of credit cards? Was he suggesting you start your own credit card institution and start issuing people credit cards? I mean, I guess if you have the funding to do that, that probably would be a pretty good business. Credit cards are very profitable because you always have to pay them off with interest, just like any loan. But no, Ed Beckley's system was way more irresponsible. Instead, he advised people who purchased his advice on this to take cash advances on up to 200 different credit cards, and then take that money and invest it on very short-term, low-risk and high-yield opportunities. Now, there are two major problems with this. First of all, there aren't that many short-term, low-risk, high-yield opportunities when it comes to stocks or investments. That's pretty rare. And if someone's promising you that, it's probably some kind of pyramid scheme. That's just not how the stock market functions. It's pretty unusual. So you're basically going to be risking this money off of more traditional stocks, and that can yield profits in the long term, assuming you invest in, well, good stock. That turns out to be an incredibly good company that does well and grows in value. But to take out a whole bunch of cash advances on credit cards and throw it all into the stock market, you might as well take it to the freaking casino at that point. This is a tremendously, outrageously irresponsible thing to do. Horrifyingly, this won't make you a millionaire. This is just going to destroy your credit for life. Are you kidding me? That is horrifically terrible advice. And yeah, some people took it, winding up in severe debt. Because of course they did. But it didn't take long for the authorities to get wind of Beckley's, well, frankly, tremendously, outrageously irresponsible level of fraud here, because what he was promising people just couldn't be done, and at best he was giving them horrid advice. At worst, well, Ed's former company, the Beckley Group, was based in Fairfield, Iowa, and in 1986 the state attorney general's office shut the whole thing down, suing Beckley for $2.8 million on behalf of around 8,000 people who had each paid $295 apiece for the home study investment programs. And it turns out the reason he was being fast and loose with giving refunds is that he straight up couldn't afford to pay everybody back because he had spent most of the money he made. They did agree to a $2.4 million settlement, but Beckley still couldn't come up with the money. He filed for bankruptcy, lost nearly $2 million of his own money, and his wife of 19 years left him. Additionally, another source does state that he actually went to jail too for at least a few years on securities fraud, though I haven't found actual verification as to whether or not that's true. Eddie's a pretty tough nut to crack. There aren't too many verifiable sources on him, but one of them does state that he did go to jail. But either way, the one I trust, Los Angeles Times, wrote an article back in 1996, not only detailing pretty much everything I just told you, but also pointing out that by 96, Beckley was back at it. Because of course he was. He's a career scammer, come on now. Even if he did go to jail, he's gonna keep scamming, keep looking for that money, the dinero. And not like legitimately, because that would be stupid. No, of course not. We're gonna rip people off instead. We're gonna focus on the dark side of money making, not the good side, not the legitimate business, not the mom and pop shop, not selling a decent product. No, 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 no. Just rip people off. It's great. Everyone loves it when people do that. Actually, wait, no, the opposite! He founded a new company, also in Fairfield, which he called Home Business Technologies Incorporated, along with a partner named Steve Wynn, who had also worked with him at the Beckley Group. So, you can only imagine the kind of scammy nonsense they were coming up with. And once again, Beckley was operating seminars. Oh, for God's sake, not again, seriously? This time he had a different idea. In order to attract less attention, he no longer promised big get-rich-quick schemes or anything like that. Instead, he charged people $295, because of course they did, and taught people how to supplement their main incomes by teaching them how to become distributors of a whole bunch of different products, like finding college loans for people, reduced rates on airline travel, hotels, rental cars, all sorts of stuff. He would also sell distributorships for sunglasses, gumball machines, as well as even grocery coupons. These little side gigs that are going to net you just a whole bunch of, well, just a little bit, actually, of extra money. It was the little bit part that kind of helped him steer around any criminal charges, because as long as people were making some money, he would have the argument that, see, they are making some money. None of his new stick suggested that you were going to become a millionaire off of these ideas, just that you'd make a little bit of extra funds, but only if you give him $295 for him to actually tell you that, which is still ridiculous. And once again, the Attorney General's office and the Better Business Bureau were looking pretty strongly at him. Even though he was playing carefully this time, they just didn't trust him, because of course they didn't. Why would they? Both organizations advised potential customers to be wary of Beckley and his new organization, and this made Beckley really upset. He said they were picking on him, that he'd made a mistake, sure, but, you couldn't judge me for my past. I've changed. Instead of doing seminars telling people really bad advice about how they can make millions and millions of dollars, while charging them $295 a pop to give that advice, I am instead now doing seminars teaching people how they can make just a little bit of extra money, charging them $295 a pop. Beckley! This is the same scam! You're just promising less! Don't lie to me! However, it doesn't seem like his new company really went anywhere. The advisories from the authorities, as well as Beckley's own past, made it so that HBT didn't last particularly long, though I can't quite figure out exactly when they would have shut their doors, and from then on it seems like Ed has completely fallen off the map. I can't even verify if he's still alive, as he was 48 in 1996. So he'd be getting pretty old by this point. But based on that alone, it does seem to imply that his scamming career was sufficiently over. He had his time. He had his chance to run away with the money, and he just didn't because he was too egregious with it. And I think more than anything it was the credit card thing. If he had just stuck to real estate, he could have pulled a Tommy Vu and made the argument that people had to actually work at it to make the system profitable, and that they simply weren't doing that, and then run away before things got too hot. But Ed also did the stupid credit card thing, which any logical person thinking about it would realize that it is a tremendously, tremendously, outrageously irresponsible thing to do at best. Do not do that. And thus he found himself crushed under the big boot of the law, going bankrupt, losing his marriage, attempting again to be a scammer in the mid-90s, but also failing at that. 'Cause, yeah, I mean, listen, you scammed him once, buddy. You ain't doing it twice. You went to the same town. I mean, the people there know what you're like. Come on now. What are you thinking? Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.